Folks, welcome to episode 17 of Everything Pro Wrestling. Everything Pro Wrestling is a show by the fans for the fans. And with me tonight, I have a special guest. He is from YouTube, Ant the Gamer, ADG. Ant, say what's up to the people, man.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's ADG. And, we're about to talk this wrestling, about to get in the ring, lay the smackdown on all the non-believers.
And we also are going to be joined by Nelson Bala. He's stuck in traffic right now, so he should be on momentarily. So if you see him pop up, don't be alarmed. Well, tonight we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw to start off the show. Monday Night Raw was taped actually in London, England, and it was in the O2 Arena. And first question I got for you is, what are your thoughts on the WWE shows from London? Are you interested in them? Do you not like them? Just want to curious thoughts I have about it.
I think the WWE shows in London are very important. When you look at a lot of the rosters, some of them come from England, and I'm not just talking Paige, but, a lot of people like Barrett, and even though I don't want to see him go, but they're getting a lot of talent from England. You look at the Evolve shows in which they're connecting with, and you think about the cruiserweight thing they're gonna have, the cruiserweight. I'm not sure what they call it. What are they calling it? The cruiserweight.
The WWE Global Cruiserweight Series is what they're having. That's actually part of the last topic. We can get into that more too. That's going to be very important for international and brand expansion, I feel, for them.
Yeah. So a lot of those talents are from London, and I think that's part of their partnership. That's why we're seeing a lot of the London shows and things like that. I think it's good, and it's good for their partnership.
Absolutely. I just feel weird sometimes with the crowd, like the chants that they're doing. I don't get it, but they look like they're having a blast. So, and I always feel like these shows don't get the attention they fully deserve. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I feel like they're dumbed down at points, and they don't give them everything that they could. But no complaints, though. Just a weird feeling I always get when they say the show is from England.
It wasn't live last night, was it? It was just...
It was taped, which I think is another reason why their ratings always decline when they do a show in England, because people just read the results and are like, okay, it was cool. Now I can go watch whatever, NBA playoff basketball or NHL hockey, whatever they're into, or another show or Netflix. Because they're like, okay, it's taped, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I want to say to the wrestling fans that I know us wrestling fans, we get tempted to know what's going to happen next. We really want to know. But sometimes it's good just to let it happen. Just let it happen, have a little mysterious mystique to what's going to happen on the show, because sometimes we just know everything now, and sometimes that's not really good, for our viewing pleasure. It's not.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big person on, I'm glad you brought that up about not watching, I don't read the SmackDown spoilers ever. I try to watch SmackDown when I can, and a lot of people always say, why do you watch SmackDown? It's boring. And I'm like, you never know when something big is going to happen on SmackDown. I try not to look, even when it says there's a title changing hands, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know which match is going to be, so let me watch this and try and figure it out. And some things I think you just have to let play out, like you said, so you'll enjoy the product more versus reading everything and then not trying to write the product, because this is in someone else's vision and Vince McMahon's vision. It's not yours all the time.
Yeah, and it gets hard. It does. I mean, I think that's TNA's biggest problem. You look at Impact on Pop, and they're doing shows. What is it? They do it on Friday or Saturday or something like that.
Oh, they're Tuesdays now. They're probably actually on after this show ends around 9.
Yeah, but they recorded it last week.
They're months recorded out usually. Sometimes they'll have 6 weeks of tapings within 3 days.
It's hard, especially if you're following other wrestling news sites and you're on Twitter, for example. You're going to know automatically who's going to come, who's going to win the title. So it's like, why should I watch it? And I think that's why I got turned off from it again. I gave it another shot when it was, when it went to Pop. And then it's just like, I can't watch this anymore because I know it's going to happen. And I wasn't interested. I just said, you know what, I'd rather just going to catch the news on it. I just couldn't get into it again. I'm thinking about giving it another chance, but yeah, that stuff ruins things.
We can get into some TNA too. Here we go. We'll start with Raw from last night. Raw opens up with the Ambrose Asylum with Shane McMahon. And basically, you end up having Owens come out, Zayn come out, and Jericho come out. And Shane lets all the spiel go on. Lots of comedy stuff in here. Nothing too bad or insulting wrestling fans' intelligence. But Shane sets up some matches. Zayn versus Jericho and Owens versus Ambrose. Thumbs up. Always good to have it. And the opening match was Chris Jericho defeating Sami Zayn with a code breaker. What are you thinking of Sami Zayn since he's come up to the roster and Jericho coming back and being put more of a prominent role than he's been the last few times he's come back?
Before I begin, I want everyone to know that I am usually a heel guy, but I'm also a very open person because I realize that this is a scripted scenario and these guys have a lot of talent. Sami Zayn has a lot of talent. Now, the match was great. I understand why they put Jericho over him, but it's kind of sad to see Sami Zayn put on all these impressive matches. I mean, you look at every match he's done, even a little bit before WrestleMania. All his matches since he's came back, his matches with Joe, Nakamura, Owens, even his performance at WrestleMania. Look at all the stuff he's done, but he's not winning. So when Sami Zayn puts his head down on the show, I'm thinking to myself, I feel bad for this guy. I feel bad for him. I do believe eventually Sami Zayn is going to reap all the glory from putting in this work right now. So overall, though, match-wise, it was a great match. It showed off the talent that Jericho still has, and it also showcased Sami Zayn. Just a great match, a good way to kick off the show.
Yeah, I like it, and I think Jericho's in a good spot. I think he stepped up his game since it was a Mania time a little bit. So Jericho, and he's a talented guy. He's been doing his thing for years. I've been watching him since the 90s.
My son admitted to me last night. We watched wrestling together around here. I even got my daughter watching it. So, he admitted to me. He said, I like Jericho when he plays the bad guy. It makes his lines and the way he talks, the way he tells people to, shut the hell up and, mind your business. When he talks that way and he's playing heel, it's like, to me, Jericho is best. When you think about when Jericho entered, that's what he did. So it's like him coming home to what he does. So
I think Jericho's best run was in that 2008 period where Jericho was wearing the suits and being very heelish. I think Jericho really embraces the heel side. He's great at both roles, but I think he's a better heel, in my opinion, as well.
He makes a great jackass. He has the voice of a jackass, to be honest.
So then we get a little segment backstage after that match with AJ Styles. He meets up with Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are the names I'm going with here. He meets up with them, and it looks like a little Bullet Club reuniting, setting up something. They're just talking, it looked like, having a good time. Planting the seeds of something, maybe that they're going to be together, and that'll play into later on in the show. Then you get to the semifinals of the tag team championship tournament for New Day's tag titles, #1 contenders.
Can we stop for a second, though? Can we stop for a second?
Go ahead.
At the moment, the AJ Styles and, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson moment happened, I was regretting following certain people on Twitter because the rumors were already out there, right? So it's being placed in our heads like, okay, I think we know what might be happening here, but we don't know how it's going to play out, but we know something's amiss. And they're like, let's talk backstage. Let's go talk backstage. And we just knew something was amiss. We don't know how it's going to plan out, but we knew that it's going to happen because we already knew what the rumors were about, former Bullet Club members, etc.
It could go several different ways. We'll see. We'll see.
It could.
But tag title match, we get into it with Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy defeating the Dudley Boys in what I thought was a pretty good match. I love the energy we're getting from Enzo and Colin Cassidy. I think they're two great teams in both these matches. It's kind of like the old school meets the new school. And the Dudleys looked like they were giving out some receipts in that match a little bit. Hard chops, showing them some love. But what did you think of the match overall, ADG?
I want to start actually with the promo. The promo was great. Enzo is really holding it down. I think Enzo is doing better on Raw than he did on NXT. Not only on that mic, but in the ring. You look at his promo, I think he said something about there's lies and believers in and friends. And then he made a joke, and there's done and done. But even though that's not how you exactly spell it, but you know what he meant. But Enzo, oh my God. Enzo is getting the crowd behind him. I feel like he's pulling off more maneuvers in the ring. I feel like he's selling more. I feel like he's putting more feeling behind, not just behind the moves that he do. I think there's more like when Enzo throw a punch down, it seems like it has more meaning. The way he's looking at Bubba in the ring, he's talking smack, he's putting on a good show for the fans, and I think it's good for him because when you're a small guy, it takes so much more. But he's really doing a good job right now being that small guy, and it wouldn't surprise me that Enzo was going to have a real good career, even actually better than what I expected from his performance in NXT. But the matchup was great. I think at times it went a little slow at times, but overall everything fit together. It had a nice ending, and it was just a great match.
There's lots of good teams for them to work with too. Is the best thing, and I think that Enzo and Cass are such. I don't want to put them in the same category as Sami Zayn, but I'm gonna put this as lovable losers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I know what you said before, but they're those guys. They're like Rey Mysterio. Like I feel the pain when I'm watching Sami Zayn, Enzo Amore. They take those beatings, and I'm like, oh man, these dudes look like they're struggling. I feel bad watching it. And I'm like, man, why do I feel bad watching this? And they're getting into it and everything, and just good selling, I guess, is the main thing. And they're telling a great story. So anytime that you want to tell a story with your body, those are the dudes you want to watch in the ring.
Yeah, but Cass is getting big crowd pops every time they come out. It's like people. I mean, this week when they came out was similar to the first week. It's like they never seen them before. And I know some of these towns haven't witnessed, Enzo and Cass yet. So that might be another thing I just thought about that. Because, a lot of people haven't witnessed Enzo and Cass because I think NXT is limited to the areas they go. But they're coming out. They're getting these big pops. People are happy to see them, happy to hear what they're going to say. And I think they're generating a new audience too, a different type of audience and pulling in a different type of fan. And I think they're going to sell a lot of merchandise, and that's going to do good for WWE. And I think all in all, as long as they still stay themselves, they're going to be real good for the WWE.
And when they get stale, they can bring up Carmella with them. That's another thing that people forget. Like when Carmella's a little bit more seasoned and ready, I think then they can add her to the act too, and then it's off to the moon with those guys. Next thing we get into is a Roman Reigns promo. He is heavily booed by the I guess I'm gonna call them the London fans here. And AJ Styles comes out and they're talking back and forth, and out of nowhere, Anderson and Gallows hit the ring and basically attack Reigns. And like you said, there's lots of different things that are going on here. Let me ask you this. In your mind, do you play the scenarios out in your head a little bit? What do you want to see come from this, or what are you thinking after you saw this?
Honestly, I'm thinking it is going to be like they're playing out, Roman Empire, his cousins and whatnot, and, Luke and the former Bullet Club kind of thing going down. The question is here, who turns completely bad? The question is, who does Roman turn completely heel? Or, if Roman turn completely heel, then that puts in a scenario where the Usos turn completely heel as well. It's kind of hard to really see. So in that aspect, I'm loving it because it's a little mysterious, because you don't really know where it's going to go. And I think that's what's great about what's happening right now in WWE, because there's a lot of new things, a lot of new talent, and you can't really guess the matches or where the storyline is going to take you. I think it's great, but I want to talk about Roman Reigns real quick.
Absolutely.
I feel kind of. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a Roman Reigns fan, and the reason why I'm not a Roman Reigns fan is because I feel like he needs to offer a little bit more to his arsenal in the ring. Now, and not only in the ring, but on the mic. I think Roman Reigns has the look. When he was with the Shield, I was going for Roman Reigns. I love seeing him come down. But, you know, over the last couple of years, we've seen Roman Reigns, and he hasn't really evolved. I think he might have put a sit-down power bomb into his maneuver maybe, but I haven't really seen him evolve as an in-ring character. And a lot of people talk about John Cena, but honestly, I feel like Cena occasionally evolved throughout his time. I don't care if it was a Hurricane Rana, some of those pendulum face busters he uses, but he evolved a little bit throughout time. I think Roman Reigns needs to continue to evolve and also get better on the mic to be accepted by the crowd. Plus, a lot of the crowd just want to see him heal anyway, so they're just gonna boo him.
I have the feeling, I've said this a million times about Roman, so I'm beating probably a dead horse, but I think Roman is fine doing what he's doing. Like you said, you're going to add moves to the arsenal. It's going to happen regardless because you're going to get bored yourself doing the same thing. And Bala, what's going on, my man?
What's up, man? I'm actually in the supermarket right now, but I can still, you know.
All right. All right. Debut of the green hair, as we see, folks. But right now we're just talking about Roman Reigns real quick. Roman Reigns, I feel, is, I don't know how I want to put this. He's definitely someone who is quite the character. He has everything WWE needs. He has the it factor. He has the looks, the charisma, everything else. I think the fans want to see him.
No, he has everything WWE likes, and they like their guys big. They like their guys strong. And they like their guys to have like 3 good moves. Apparently, they don't. No, they don't. They dislike the smaller guys, and that's where Roman Reigns comes into play.
I wouldn't say that, though. Roman. The problem with Roman,
I would say that
Roman's gonna turn heel, and then everybody's going to cheer Roman Reigns. I'm calling it now. As soon as Roman turns heel, then he's going to get the opposite reaction that they were like, well, why did we do this?
Yeah, I mean, but they played themselves, man. Because that year, when they had Roman win the Royal Rumble, that's when it all, like, backfired on them. Because, you know, the year before that, everyone was like, why is Roman, like, not getting a push? Why is he not getting this? Why is he not getting that? And then they have... You know, everyone's favorite to win that Royal Rumble is Daniel Bryan. Everybody wanted him to win that. And then they have Roman win it, and that's the day Roman died for the fans. So that's the day they just killed it. There's like no hope of him ever getting cheered. That's the day Roman Reigns died.
I mean, ADG, and what are you thinking this whole thing with Reigns? I mean, you think if they turned him heel, I think the people are going to cheer. I think it's just the smart kind of way of how they treat wrestlers now.
I think they're gonna cheer at first, and then I don't know. I think wrestling fans in a way can't make up their mind these days. But once you get on top now in WWE, you're looked at even harder. You know, they look at you even more. And Roman was in a bad position even getting there. You know. I do like the way they're playing this thing out with Roman Reigns. They're playing the card of Roman's not a good guy. You know, he's not a bad guy. He's just him. Roman is addressing his haters. Roman is addressing his haters and things like that. And I think it's good that they're doing it. They're adding a realistic approach to the way the fan feels about Roman Reigns. So in that aspect of being real, I feel like he's gaining a little bit of respect because it's making fans think, you know, he doesn't care what we think. He's still gonna come out there every single night and do what he has to do, if you like him or not, because he wants to be champion. In that aspect, when someone's gonna deal with what he's dealing with right now, after a while, you have to give the man some respect. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Well, get into it. They go to do like a break and then they come back. Reigns and Styles are backstage, and basically you get the AJ Styles is assuring Roman Reigns he had nothing to do with the attack. We've seen it a million times in pro wrestling, and it's just one of those hold you over kind of deals. And like we said, we don't know if Styles really did orchestrate it or if it's nobody knows what's going on with this. But we're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out.
Yeah, they got a situation of making two guys heel that really make the story interesting, and everybody's just waiting it out.
But you realize how there's no heel in the story. Well, everyone already boos Roman, but there's really no heel in the story. I think they're gonna try to like, you know, I think the Bullet Club is gonna, you know, AJ and them, they're gonna help AJ win, and like they're gonna like jump him or something, and that's how AJ is gonna become heel. That way they have a heel for the story. You get what I'm saying? Because at the moment they're booking Roman face, they're booking AJ face, and I think they can try to draw some heat. It's only gonna make them the fans are only gonna cheer the Bullet Club. They're not gonna boo the Bullet Club, especially if they're attacking Roman Reigns.
I guess here's the better question for both of you: is WWE better embracing what the fans are saying, or is it better to go against what the fans are saying?
It goes hand in hand, man. Because then if you hold something off for a little bit, it's gonna make the people want to see it. And then when the people finally see it, they're gonna be hyped. But then again, there's a small ass fans that want what they want right now, and go on Twitter and whatnot and bitch about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely.
I think they should listen to them a little bit, but I think it needs to be like an even kind of thing. You gotta like put a swerve in there every now and then and make them say, "Oh, they didn't listen to us." So you can't just do it all the time. That's what I'm scared about. Shane being the, you know, overall. I don't want the fans getting what they want all the time. If that's gonna get stale after a while too. You gotta have a good balance.
Absolutely, and I think they will find balance. However, they have to do it.
If they let the fans decide, Zack Ryder would be WWE champion. It's like, you know, there's certain things that you got to do yourself. You can't let the fans decide for you. You know what I mean?
I think they kind of made a mistake with the women's championship, to be honest, because I think, yeah, you kind of respect the name women. A lot of people do, but in a way, women is kind of bland of a name. And
yeah, but divas make them sound like bitches. You know what I mean? It makes them sound like they just got like a stank attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, I think diva comes with a negative connotation, and I think that's where the problem was. It wasn't the fact.
It depends on, like, you know, you're coming up or what age group you're in too, because like diva for certain age groups, you know, I think it came to par a little bit with Serena Williams when she was getting real big and they were calling her a diva, and she was a strong-minded, but yet she could strong, but yet she could, you know, be a pretty woman if she wanted to. You know what I'm saying? That's what the whole aspect of the diva was for the WWE Divas division, but everybody just took it as a diva is just someone who's high maintenance. Well, actually, it has more meaning in it.
I feel the same way about superstars too, because it's like they're wrestlers, and like for some reason wrestler is a dirty word, as Paul Heyman once said. They made wrestler a dirty word, and I don't know why Vince dislikes the word wrestler, but that's what they are. They're wrestlers.
It's, to be honest, if I can hit you guys with the business mindset, Vince wants marketability. He can't own the name wrestler. So Vince says, I'm going to call you a superstar. Okay, I can brand a show after that. I can do this. You know what I mean? That's what Vince always has wanted. Vince wants to own everything that he touches, which is very intelligent. He's a billionaire for a reason. But and I think the women competitors are called superstars now as well, just so you know.
But in marketing, they teach you things like that, and that's the reason why even if you go to any federation or group, they have their way of branding their superstars. It's not just the WWE.
I feel a lot of indie companies try to like replicate WWE by copying some names and whatnot, like just to make them sound like legit. They're like, oh, see, these guys are leading, so let me do what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at least it's still called World Wrestling Entertainment, and you really don't hear it. We hear the term superstars, but you don't really hear it that much. You still hear the word wrestling too, so that's that good mix we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I just think, I don't know, for me with the women's thing, it's kind of hard to adjust to it just being women now. Even, you know, in some of the things I do on my channel and whatnot, and, you know, just say the word, getting adjusted to saying women instead of divas, and I don't know, it just don't, it doesn't feel as strong. I don't know, it just doesn't.
I feel women's wrestling sounds more professional than divas wrestling. I don't know, it's just me.
I'm with you on that, Bala. I mean, we can agree to disagree on it. We'll have to wait and see how serious.
I mean, I don't hate women's division. I don't hate it. It's just, I don't know. It's just.
I get what he's saying. He's trying to say it's not flashy. It's not. It doesn't have a distinct identity. It's just generic.
Maybe it just needs to come back and grow on me again. I mean, to me, it's just a name though. Really, in the end, it's just a name. Nothing's gonna change that we're gonna do personally. So, I mean, they're still gonna go the same routes they plan to go at the beginning, and whoever they're gonna place as champion. The same. It's not gonna change the talent in the ring. What determines the talent in the ring are the divas or women wrestlers themselves. So, I'm still looking forward to see what women are gonna come out of, you know, that division and what's gonna happen
now
with Charlotte in the title.
Next match we can get into is Baron Corbin defeats Fandango. And we're going to kick it to you first. What do you think of how Baron Corbin's being used since he's come up from NXT? Do you like it? Are you not feeling it? I've heard mixed reviews on it.
I'm not sure where they're going, but I'm glad he's not just jobbing, you know. So he's got out of that scenario where he was paying dues, so to speak, and he's able to showcase himself as a formidable wrestler. I don't know where they're going to go. Can they put him at this point? I think eventually we may see him at a title such as U.S. Intercontinental. But
Ball, what are you thinking of Baron Corbin?
I'm liking him, man. Yeah, I like his moveset, man. Like, I don't know, his hairline kind of bothers me, not to sound like an asshole. His hairline kind of bothers me. I feel like it's too far back. But his mic skills are alright. But yeah, I like his like moveset.
Yeah, I relate to Baron Corbin, like his actual real personality that people don't know about. For those that watch, what was it, Breaking Ground? Yeah, and he told why he called himself the Lone Wolf and why he chooses to, you know, usually stick to himself and by himself. I kind of related to that in a way because, you know, in today's world you can't really trust too many people. So yeah, I kind of dig that, and I dig he brought it into what he does in the WWE. So I am rooting for him, big time.
Yeah, I like Baron as well. We get to a next segment. It's Miz TV with Cesaro. They go back and forth a little bit. I didn't see anything too impressive here. I do like that Miz is with Maurice now, and I do like Cesaro's 007 gimmick, so I'm feeling both. And what are you thinking of Miz with Maurice and Cesaro's gimmick change?
Man, I'm loving the eye candy back. I'm loving the French poodle as I can't believe King actually called her a dog, but he used to call her that, you know. But you know, I'm loving seeing her back in the ring. I think it puts an aspect on the Miz where people are actually okay with him coming out. There are a lot of people that actually despises the Miz. My daughter is one of them. Miz comes out, she's like, oh no, not the Miz, anyone but Miz again. Why didn't they cancel the Miz's show instead of Jericho's? That's how much hate he gets. He really gets, you know. So I think Maurice out there with him It's good. It makes the segment a little bit more enjoyable for everybody.
Yeah, Miz is definitely good at getting legitimate. He does his job. I say he's not one of the number one heels. Like does the job that he's supposed to do and gets the reaction.
Yeah, see, that's the thing though. That's what he gets paid to do is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it. It's just
that's his job. That's.
It's just like
It's
Seth. When everybody was hitting on Seth Rollins, that's what Seth does, and he's so good at doing it.
That's the reason he gets paid. That's the reason he's there, is to make you hate him. And like, you don't understand that.
Yeah, they forget the purpose of wrestling. This segment ends up turning into a match, though. You get Cesaro in the New Day, defeating Miz and League of Nations. For the record, I love whoever made the meme last night when I was watching Raw. If Cesaro, I'd be cool with Cesaro joining the New Day. If you called him Swiss Chocolate, I just thought it was funny.
Swiss Chocolate,
just because they showed him dancing with them and stuff, and I was just like, this. Like, people are just witty and too quick-witted with this stuff. But overall, good match. Very impressed by Cesaro and New Day. New Day may have been the most overactive tonight, I would say, too.
Well, New Day's been doing that for a while now. They just go out there and everybody is just happy to see them. And New Day pretty much, you got to think about it, it would probably be no tag team division the way it is now. If it wasn't for the New Day bringing not only some wrestling to the table, but some great promos.
Yeah.
Promos matter, you know, it really does.
Entertainment, like, anybody can wrestle. I mean, mostly anybody can wrestle. But they bring, like, an entertainment factor to it. Like, as well, they put on great matches, but they also put on, like, you know, like, great segments, and they could cut a pretty mean promo, too. Just like,
segments go in the ring, too. When you see Xavier Woods acting a fool outside, you know, the way they talk in the ring, they're telling a story in the ring, too, and putting on promos in the ring.
I think also that they're very hip is what makes them cool. I think that attracts people often in industries where sometimes people forget what's the cool thing and what's the hip thing. New Day is able to bring things in on videos you see from Facebook and other things and make it relatable to the people. So they pick up the win. This leads to Natalya and the women's champion Charlotte backstage, and they discuss how they're going to have a match at WWE Payback. And Rick and Charlotte are talking trash to Natty. And long story short, Natty says, "Oh, it's okay because someone's going to have my back and be in my corner. It's my Uncle Brett. It's never Dad Jim Neidhart. He must be busy."
Yeah, I mean, who's going to be like, "Oh my God, the Anvil"? I don't mean sound like an ass, but
I'm just saying, well, you got to go to your Uncle Brett for favors all the time. There's a problem.
Yeah, well, her Uncle Brett was champion, like world champion, so it's like.
Listen, I get it. I'm just saying, don't disrespect the woman's dad, though. She's like, yeah, I'm part of the Hart family. My uncle's Brett. Who's your dad? Like, come on, man. Say your dad's name once in a while. But they lead into that, which I think is going to be a great match. What are you guys thinking of the Charlotte Natty matchup for Payback? First.
I'm thinking we've done this already in NXT because they did it already in NXT. Maybe it'll be a different outcome this time, but this has been done already in NXT, and I was thinking, yeah, if they're gonna do that scenario again, at least bring in her father this time. Bring in the Anvil. That's what I was thinking. I mean, give him a chance to do something. I remember a little while back they were saying on Total Divas that you know, the Anvil had a new contract, some kind of Legends contract, but they never used him to do anything.
Well, I think it was because they used him for WWE 2K16 was what the contract was for. I mean, they could probably make action figures and stuff like that too.
I think they don't. I don't know. They don't think he's acceptable to TV, but they'll bring Rick on anything. You never know what you'll get out of Rick, especially if it's at the Hall of Fame. But it's what it is, I guess. But yeah,
I feel they don't think like maybe the younger crowd will know who the Anvil is. And Bret Hart, everybody knows who Bret Hart is. I mean, even like the young ones. Maybe if they bring an Anvil, they'll feel like maybe like 12 and under. I don't know who's their target audience, but they probably won't know who that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the younger ones.
Yeah. Anyway, that goes into a Diva 4-on-4 tag match with Natty, Sasha Banks, Becky, and Paige defeating Charlotte, Tamina, Naomi, and Summer Rae. Meh. Natty gets the win with the sharpshooter. Impressive that they gave her a win. Cool. I got nothing on it. Unless you guys want to talk about the Divas match at all, or I'm sorry, the women's match.
It's hard to adjust, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Didn't Charlotte tap out, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good start to put Natalya in a position where she's a formidable opponent, where it makes people think that she's gonna win.
It made her look strong.
Yeah, it makes her look strong.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm going for Natalya. I really want. I think Natalya deserves the title at least one more time. So putting the women's championship on her would be pretty hot. It's probably what the fans want to see. Someone like her representing the women's championship before,
If the plan is, once I saw that Sasha didn't win the belt at Mania, my plan was, okay, if they're going to drag this out, once I saw they were going through Natalya, I'm like, they're going to have to drag this out till SummerSlam. Which I think can tell, I said it last week, they can tell the cool story of Sasha Banks lost the NXT Women's Championship to Bayley in the same arena. So it wasn't too bad. And I think they could tell a cool story of, Sasha, you lost the belt here. You're never going to do anything here. Brooklyn's your bad luck place. You can do something like that and then make it a bigger deal. And I think that's what they should do for that match. And you can even have Bayley come up the next night, and it's like, oh, it's about to get real. It's getting real. And I think that would be a good way to do it. That's just my opinion. Ball, are you going to SummerSlam?
Yeah, I actually am.
All right, I just had to ask.
The night of.
It's doing that. The next match we get is the Vaudevillains.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I think it was me causing an echo before. I want to apologize about that.
I didn't hear one.
The Vaudevillains defeat the Usos in another semifinals match for the #1 contenders for the tag titles. I like this match. There was a lot of good storytelling in it. Presented last week's beatdown as a way, and I'm kind of surprised that the Vaudevillains pick up the W here. ADG, what do you think of the Vaudevillains? Do they have a good enough gimmick to get over on WWE television? Oh man, that did not sound good.
Vaudevillains. I'm torn on their gimmick. I don't think professional wrestling, well, the fans of professional wrestling are really going to let that, like the mainstream fans are going to let that last that long. I just don't see it. Right now, it's new. Okay, it'll be all right, but I don't see it lasting that long.
To be fair, Elvis Impersonator is the longest Intercontinental Champion of all time.
Okay.
So I mean, gimmick-wise,
I think fans need gimmicks to a degree. Zack Ryder is a gimmick. I don't know if anyone's ever noticed this, but if you go back to, I'm getting real old here, MySpace days. Like, I know you remember the protein video, ADG. I don't know if you're gonna remember what I'm talking about, where the kid's in like the nightclub and it's playing the song in the background that I'm not gonna say because I'll probably get YouTube strike for saying it. He's sitting in the background and he's like, yeah, all the girls love me because my collars pop. Yeah, protein. Zack Ryder's theme song is based off the song that's playing in the background in there. So a lot of people don't notice little things like that. I'm like, that's where Zack Ryder got that character from. Because a week later, he started doing that gimmick, basically, with the woo, 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 you know it. I'm from Long Island. We all talk like this, and my collars pop. Yeah, all the girls love me, and goofiness. And gimmicks work, man. They still can get people over. It's just you're not going to be taken serious at that main event level until you get the gimmick over, and then you get transitioned.
It's all about how you play your role, like how you go with the gimmick. it's not the gimmick, it's the person, I believe. Like, Goldust made that gimmick work, and it's such, if you think about it, such a shit gimmick. It's a golden actor. And he's made that work since the Attitude Era. And I heard that gimmick wasn't even supposed to last that long. But Goldust 2016 is still Goldust. It's crazy.
He's a good wrestler too. I mean, he gets psychology in the ring, and he's a good teacher. So, and are you saying there's no place for gimmicks in wrestling, or are you saying more so that it has to be the right gimmick? Because the Vaudevillains gimmick is like, it's cool on NXT. If it was like on the Indies, it would be cool. But I feel like I don't know if the mainstream is going to take this.
I don't think the way it is now it'll last. If they evolve, it will last. It goes back to what I was saying about Roman Reigns. They're gonna have to evolve. Not only evolve like what they do in the ring, they're gonna have to evolve their gimmick. They're gonna have to evolve their gimmick and think of things that will fit their gimmick to entertain the fans. And right now, I can't think of anything that's gonna really fit their gimmick to entertain the fans, because once you get on, the main roster, you gotta promo, you gotta entertain these fans. And honestly, they didn't do much of that on NXT. They mainly were wrestlers.
But if you're not given the opportunity to, like, if you're not given a mic like they give to Enzo every week, I mean, I love Enzo, but if you're not, if you're not given that opportunity, how are you supposed to say your piece,
I will say this. You guys know Aiden English can sing, because before he was by himself, before they formed this team, and he used to come out to the ring and sing, and they would throw roses at him and stuff. He was pretty good. If you haven't checked that out, try and find Colin Cassidy's cue. Colin Cassidy can sing, too. I didn't know that. That was just
I always wanted to see Aiden when he was by himself. I wanted to see him with Cesaro for some reason. I don't know why. I just did.
Very similar styles, I think, is why. But, Vaudevillains pick up the win, so the finals looks like it's going to be Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy versus the Vaudevillains, and that's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to take place next week or if it's going to happen at the Payback pay-per-view.
I already see what's coming. I really do.
Uh-oh.
I hate to. What do you think? Wrong. I could be wrong, but I'm like 90% positive that Enzo and Cass are going to pick up the victory.
Yeah, that's my predictions too.
I don't see Enzo and Cass win?
They're giving them so much TV time. It's ridiculous. They might as well just get the W.
Couldn't you see a possible Dudley Boy screw job too? I can see it going that way. You let the New Day carry the belts a little bit longer. You make Enzo and Cass earn it a little bit more. You got to make these people want this. Like, come on, WWE, this has to happen. It never happened in NXT. You have to do it. Yeah, Or the Dudley screw them out of the belts at the pay-per-view even.
Good point. And they did get a clean victory over the Usos.
Correct. That's what I'm saying.
But was it like Jimmy or Jay? I forget which one. He had like a shoulder injury from the attack last week, I think.
Right, that's what I was saying with the storytelling. It was great that they threw him into the pole, gave him the beat down, and that's basically why the Usos lost, because they got beat up last week.
I was expecting Carl Anderson or Luke to come out, and that's the way they was going to win. But it was a clean victory. So I'm like, what? What just happened? I even rewind because I thought I missed something.
I thought the Usos were going to still win. I was like, there's no way that you do this. I had a different ending in mind, the whole Roman Empire thing, and I was like, oh, I hope they don't do this. This will tell a big part of the story. So, all good, though. Pretty cool. So we'll have to wait and see what happens and see what they do, if the match is next week or at the pay-per-view. We get into the second last match, or the buffer for the main event, basically. Apollo Crews defeats Heath Slater. Easy win. Quick thoughts on Apollo Crews, guys. What do you think?
Yeah, future world champion, man. Yeah, I know you said it before. I'm saying it now. Yo, he's got the look. I don't, not that there's a look, but he's got the look. He's got the moves, man. His mic skills are alright. They're not, they're not the greatest, but they're pretty good. They're better than Roman's. I'm not shitting on Roman, but they're better than Roman's. And I'm just, he's athletic as hell, man. He's only been in boss matches so far, against like the Social Outcasts.
Yeah.
But they've been matches for like squash matches. I actually watched them.
I wanted him to join the Social Outcasts.
You liked them, you said?
I wanted him to join the Social Outcasts. I was hoping he would lose somehow.
I love the Social Outcast, but Apollo Crews is much better than the Social Outcast, man.
That's
They
true. But maybe he could have helped evolve them. I mean, be their leader or something. I don't know.
I think you could throw Damian Sandow with him.
They should, man.
Throw
Because
the guy
this
man, he's over. He gets cheered when he comes out.
This guy, Adam Rose, just got suspended.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're gonna keep him, with them or just throw him.
Adam Rose and Connor. I feel bad for Victor. It's like, well, now Victor has nothing to do because of that. So he's gonna be doing some jobs probably.
I mean, it's not like they were doing much anyway. The Ascension is just losing and whatnot. But
yeah. We get into the main event, folks. Dean Ambrose defeats Kevin Owens in, like they usually do, a pretty good match. Not their best one, but definitely not their worst either that I've seen. Good match. I like to see Ambrose pick up the victory. Good way to end it. What are you guys thinking of Ambrose and Owens right now? Quick thoughts. ADG, what are you thinking, man?
I think Ambrose is doing well. He's being entertaining. He's being Dean Ambrose. I think also Kevin Owens is doing what he does, and he's being Kevin Owens and doing very well at it. They're not stale at all, but I will say their match was stale last night.
So you've seen it before.
I was watching the match, the moves. I mean, we had a couple of highlights with the Avalanche and everything, but I still think, I don't know, it was kind of stale. I would say it was an average match. I wouldn't say it was like, oh, what a main event. I think it was all just a setup for, what happened toward the end after the match, the post-match.
Go ahead, get into it.
Well, as far as Jericho coming out and attacking Dean Ambrose, and that's when it was kind of like, okay, this is a setup. I knew that's what it was. It was setting up for what most people know that go to the websites that tell you everything, that it was going to be Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho.
Definitely.
I thought they were trying. See, I don't read like the spoilers and whatnot because I like to watch the product. But I don't know. It felt like they were trying to like set up a tag theme because it just had like all four of them in the ring, like.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna do that too.
I think that's gonna be next week's match because I was actually walking by my father when in the beginning of the show and he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a tag match. You know this already." And then when they made it singles matches, I was like, "Oh, you were wrong. You didn't know." And then he was like, "Yeah, they got me." And I'm like, I think next week though they'll do the tag match between them. I think that match will be off the chain, or you save it for SmackDown. So people will want to watch that.
Yeah, I don't feel enough people watch SmackDown enough as it is. Even with big matches, I don't feel people... Personally, I like SmackDown. That's always been the wrestling show rather than the storytelling show. But I feel like enough people just don't care about it now that it's like not its own show anymore. Like people like don't care at all about SmackDown.
Yeah. We'll see. They got to put storyline continuity on it, I think, is the real problem.
I think the same thing, though. They got to do some unpredictable things. But I want to get back to the scenario real quick of Jericho and Dean Ambrose. Even if you didn't watch anything, the minute you saw I think it was last week, when Jericho's show gets canceled for Dean Ambrose's show, most people's minds start thinking right there, there's going to be some animosity between these two. And then earlier during Raw last night, Jericho comes out and interrupts this, the big scenario that Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Shane and Dean Ambrose had going. And, he's like, he won the show back and stuff. So, after a while, you kind of can see this stuff going. I think WWE still need to be a little bit more creative with some of their storylines because you can kind of see the stuff coming.
They're trying. They've been better the past 3 weeks. I will say that this was another passable Raw. It wasn't the best out of the last three, but they did their thing.
I enjoyed it personally. I didn't find anything that bad.
I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good.
Oh, that's good. I'd give it like a 7. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Guys, we're gonna talk 2 quick things real quick. Conor McGregor posted on Twitter earlier. I don't know if you guys got to see it about the retirement kind of angle. I put it on the Facebook group page. If you haven't, please join the Facebook group page for Everything Pro Wrestling show group.
Okay.
And Conor McGregor basically announces like he's retiring. I mean, do you believe this? Is this a shout out to Casey Briggs? He basically says that it could be a tactic to get more money from Dana White. Could you see Conor
I think he
McGregor
might be
coming
done,
to
man.
WWE?
He's not coming to WWE. I honestly don't see it. He doesn't strike me as that kind of guy. Like pop culture, like he's like really big and popular, but like I just don't see him. He looks like one of those guys who call it like a fake sport and whatnot. But I'm a big fan of Conor McGregor, and it's pretty upset when I seen that. I didn't read the tweet or whatnot, but I've heard. Social media's been blowing up. And if he is retiring, I get where he's coming from. Because, he's young. He still has, like, everything working and functioning. He don't want to go out like, an older guy, like kind of like Muhammad Ali, and have all these medical problems,
Yeah, I mean, I could see Conor McGregor definitely going into pro wrestling, though. He's a great trash talker. He would pick it up very easily.
Yeah, I believe that he is retiring. There's no doubt about that. I just think it's kind of sad because a lot of these UFC fighters, when they lose, it's very personal. Very personal. So usually they consider that immediately, especially when it's a big loss for a championship. So,
yeah, Ronda said she contemplated suicide. Though they take their losses to heart, man.
Yeah, you can't go around thinking like that though, because you lose. It's not the end of your life, you know what I mean? There's plenty of other fights. Or you could walk away from the sport. She could do something else. She could be an actress tomorrow if you wanted to. She could be a wrestler.
She could be in WWE too. She's done that thing at Mania.
I mean, yeah, her and Stephanie's like best friends.
Yeah. I think you're going to see some of those UFC girls who will release get into wrestling too. Just throwing
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. We'll take the wait and see approach. Next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about real quick. TNA. TNA is possibly being sold, and rumor has it one of the people who could buy it are the Harris brothers. If you don't know, that's Jacob and Eli Blue. That's 8-Ball and what was the other guy's name? Skull from DOA, I believe. So, do you think they would be good owners for TNA, or is Dixie? I don't know. Give me your thoughts on TNA. Does Dixie need to sell this? Is this going downhill? Because I think they're going out of business soon.
Yeah. No, we've talked about this before, man. We talked about this before the last time I was on the show, like a month or two ago. They just need to pull the plug, man. I don't think anybody's saving TNA at this point. Their biggest stars are already in WWE. I don't see them making a comeback. I think they just need to save money and just pull the plug, man.
But ADG, come on, give me the optimistic look here. What do you think?
I think TNA just had to continue just being TNA. They are never going to be WWE. They're just going to be lucky they're on TV, unlike some of these federations, and make the best of it. Get some new stars, but they need to be smart about it before they have to, as your man said, pull the plug.
Yeah. I'm just hoping that TNA smartens up, and hopefully they can get someone different, because I don't think the Harris brothers should own it. And people have been tweeting Pop TV today, showing them when they wear their Nazi symbols. They used to have Nazi tattoos. I don't know if they're
Nazis. No.
I don't know if they are. Don't quote me. I don't know if that was for a gimmick or whatever.
They're gonna have like a Nazi stable. That'd be terrible.
I stay away from that stuff, but
they need to do more live events. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. So hopefully TNA can smarten up. Find someone with money. Dixie, give up the control. Hopefully you can remain a character and part of it. Give up control, Dixie. That's the smartest thing to do, or split it 50-50 and let someone else help you run it. It's the last time I'm going to suggest it and bring it up. Here we go, guys. And last quick things that we're going to run through. Who's got your attention right now in wrestling? Everyone excluding people who are on the main roster. Who are your top 5 right now?
So you mean like indies?
You can go
indies, legends,
underground. I'm going to give you a second, Bala, because you probably didn't know that was coming up.
Man.
I'm going to let you go second. I got my list ready because I had to sit and think about it. I got Samoa Joe, my number 1 right now in wrestling. Samoa Joe has shown that he is a complete badass character, and I'm really digging Samoa Joe's presentation, and I think that he is overdue for something good to happen to him. Next, I have Austin Aries. Austin Aries is the guy I think who has been overlooked for so long that it's good to see him in NXT helping the younger guys out. And I think Austin Aries has a lot that he can teach people, and he's someone you could instantly throw the title on if there's an injury or a problem going on. Tag teams will count as one. Jordan and Gable. Oh, man. My favorite tag team right now in NXT and probably not in the WWE main roster. Jordan and Gable have held it down for so long. I like their gimmick. I even like the interaction and play between the both of them. Just good stuff. Great. My number 4 was Asuka. Asuka's amazing. If you guys have not watched her, she's undefeated in NXT. Asuka has been great before she even was in NXT, and she makes everything look legit real. And I feel bad for some of the girls to take her kicks. And my last one is Lucha Underground. Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio was part of a crazy 6-man tag match last week, and if you haven't watched Lucha Underground, I highly suggest that you do. Lucha Underground has a great product if you dig it. If you watch it, let me know what you think. But Rey Mysterio seems like he's been revitalized since he's taken the time off. He's healed up a little bit. He doesn't wrestle every week, and Rey Mysterio actually looked really good last week on Lucha Underground. ADG, who's your top 5?
Oh man, do I have to include a tag team?
You don't have to. You can put anybody.
Oh man. These are not in any particular order, but Shinsuke Nakamura. That guy has been on my radar for ages. I'm kind of ashamed that I've been pronouncing his first name wrong for a majority of my life. Outside of that, Asuka, as you mentioned, I'm very crazy about Asuka. I'm glad that she's a champ. Also, I'm still a big fan of Finn Balor. He's just a remarkable guy. He's just remarkable. I also want to give some Lucha Underground love to Ivelisse because this girl can get in the ring with anyone. It surprised me that she's not in WWE. She has looks and everything. I don't know why Ivelisse is not, in everyone's mind.
You want to know why?
Well, she was for a little while, I believe, right?
Yeah, do you know why, though? Why she left?
What happened?
Rumor has it, don't quote me on this, she was the first one to report Bill DeMott for the harassment stuff that he ended up getting released for. And while she reported him, he set it up so that she basically left.
Oh, that's cold.
Yeah, no, that's messed up.
He made her run drills and stuff, and she was like, I'm not getting beat down to the ground because I told on you.
Wow. But the last one is going to be Ricochet.
Ricochet, that's my boy, man.
Yeah,
I want to also mention John Morrison / Johnny Mundo because the guy's incredible, and nobody never ever talks about him. Johnny Mundo.
Nah, because I hear backstage, I heard stories backstage that he was like an asshole. But don't quote me on that because like I haven't spoken to anybody. But from what I heard, yeah. But what was I saying? I forget.
But it's hard for me to pick a top 5. It's hard.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm just throwing different names up there. I didn't pick Nakamura because I thought that was the easy route.
Okay.
Top 5.
I would say Nakamura, but that's the easy route. I'm a big fan of Kenny Omega. I've been watching his stuff for a while. I study a little. I study him a little. Training. Young Bucks. I love the Young Bucks. I've always been a fan of tag wrestling, and like, I don't know, they just like really, they're spot monkeys, but I love them. Who else? Joe always since the TNA like 06. Love them. Been a fan of his work. What's that? That's 3. Finn, they need to call him up already. I mean, it's like when I'm surprised they called Corbin up before him, but and I'll go Austin Aries, man. Old reliable, yeah. Like they could just like put him in anything and just Like, if they need someone to do something and do it really good, they throw Austin Aries in there, and he's great.
Yeah, he looks like he's still trying to find his finisher and such, but I think he's going to do just fine in NXT. Fans, if you guys have your top 5, leave them in the bottom, and I'd love to read them and comment back and forth with you on them. And the last topic of the night, gentlemen, what are your expectations for the WWE Global Cruiserweight Series? This is an open discussion. Bring up what you want. Answer Gamer, I'm going to kick it to you first. I want to know what you're thinking. What do you expect to come from this series?
I expect, number one, new talent. Hopefully, actual return of the championship. I want to see Jack Evans, but I doubt it's going to happen. And there's rumors about Ricochet. We'll see.
Yeah, yo, Apollo Crews is actually boys with Ricochet, like, personally. So maybe, like, when he gets a little up there, he could, like, put in a good word for Ricochet. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Ball, what are your expectations for this Global Cruiserweight Series about to kick off in the summertime?
Like your boy said, I would love them to bring back the Cruiserweight titles, one of my favorite titles, believe it or not. And this should open doors for like international, like, and like different like promotions coming in. You know what I mean? Not promotions, but superstars, like top stars from different promotions coming in and getting a taste of WWE. WWE getting a taste of them.
Yeah, Zack Sabre Jr. People are gonna go nuts when they see that guy.
Yeah, like Kenny Omega in a way, but you know, he's busy.
I wish. Oh my God, I wish.
Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks want to match with New Day real bad. That's got to happen on like an NXT special or something. Make it happen.
Yeah, I'll mark so hard, man. It's crazy.
You seen the video that was out of Kenny Omega and Xavier Woods, Austin Creed?
Yes. Are you talking about the video game one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely awesome stuff. But gentlemen, I have to thank you for your time. This is the end of the show, unfortunately. We were talking some good wrestling here tonight. I'm going to let you guys give some shout-outs and stuff. If you got something you want to plug, feel free. Bala, go ahead.
You can follow me on Instagram at the Nelson Bala, all together. You can hit me up on Facebook, talk wrestling. I mean, could add me on PlayStation. Could cook in some WWE 2K, like I cook the host Conrad Cushman all the time at Bala1189. And there you go.
All right. ADG, you got anything you want to plug, let the people know about?
Yeah, number one, you guys can follow me on Twitter at @thegamer, and as the name says, I'm a gamer. So also check me out on YouTube, ADG Wrestling Games Network, and I also have 2 other channels under @thegamer as well. So I do stuff in gaming, news, previews, reviews, and even interviews. So you guys might be interested in it.
Folks, I have to give it up to you guys for sticking with us and watching the show. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. Are we totally off? Leave your comments and feedback for us.
I don't think so.
Absolutely not. But we can argue about it in the comment section. I'll reply.
Yeah, we might be jobbing. You never know.
I got to thank everybody.
The haters, the couple haters.
There's always a couple.
Throw that in there. The couple haters.
Got to thank everybody who watches the show on a weekly basis. If you got friends who like wrestling, let them know about it. Share the video with them. And if you want to be on the podcast, hit me up and let me know on Twitter or on Facebook in our group. All the details will be left in the description box. And thank you once again, folks. Have a good night. We're out.